political.
It's interesting because I just saw on Mediaite, Dan Abrams, who's the owner there, or at least he was, he's got a show on Sirius XM now. He does legal analysis for, I think, either ABC or maybe CBS. I can't remember. But he's out there saying, look, I think that Republicans are maybe overstating the illegal immigration healthcare bit a little bit, but you better be way less sloppy, mainstream media, when you're doing your fact checks over claims around illegal immigration healthcare, because you're just wrong on this. Republicans very obviously have a good argument to make on this. And he gets into the framing as to whether or not you want to question it, have at it. But he goes into this and saying, yeah, no, the actual fact check is they're not wrong. Not only is the mechanism that Democrats want to turn on that's been turned off, it absolutely will bring money into healthcare costs or to cover healthcare costs for either illegal immigrants or non-citizens. It's also very clear, and this is now me talking, not Dan, that Democrats do not hide their position that they're okay with illegal immigrants getting health care, and that is their preference. They want to pay for it. And so Jeanne Shaheen, the senator from New Hampshire, who's considered more of a moderate Democrat, but I don't know if that's really all that honest for Shaheen. She's slightly more moderate than crazy, I guess. She leans in that direction, but she's still a pretty hardcore liberal. And she gets into it with Lawrence Jones on whether or not Democrats, just even as a concept, support health care for illegal immigrants. And she gets crushed here and then decides to just flat out lie and gaslight us.
You're trying to make an issue where there isn't one.
No.
We agree.
Senator,
illegal immigrants should not be getting access to the Affordable Care Act marketplace.
100%, Senator. But what I'm saying is that members of your party are making this an issue.
Well, I can't speak for members of my party. And I don't think you're right. I think you're making it an issue. Vice President Vance is making it an issue, but I haven't heard anybody in my party saying that illegal immigrants should get access to the health insurance marketplace.
Now, you'll notice there what she's trying to do, right? She's saying the health insurance marketplace. She's not just saying health insurance. She's saying the health insurance marketplace. And Republicans, by the way, we've been pretty broad in talking about what Democrats believe, which is not just should they get health insurance. They say they should get free health care, which is paid for not always necessarily by health insurance, but it gets subsidized by taxpayers. That's what this conversation has been about, even though she tries to twist it there. But for her just now to say, and we've got more to the clip, I've not heard anyone say that. Well, then you're not paying attention. Or you're just lying. And I suspect it's the latter.
So glad you said that. Actually, I have some tape of your Democratic Party members saying this on the debate stage. So they've all said it. Let's play the clip.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Senator, that's literally every member of your party, from moderate to more progressive, that have said that in the past. I've seen them all on the table.
I beg to disagree with you. I have not said that in the past. And
no one said it was you. What is she talking? Did anyone say every single Democrat out there holds this position? No, we're talking about it as a mainstream position for the party. That doesn't mean every single Democrat holds that position. Not every Democrat holds that position. A lot of them, however, do. A lot of them do.
New Hampshire, we do not provide health insurance for illegal immigrants.
What about health care for illegal immigrants that then gets subsidized via dollars coming from taxpayers into the state Medicaid system or Medicare system? That's how this works here in Washington State, for example. You give all this money coming from the federal government to reimburse hospitals for their care. The money is coming from taxpayers. The reimbursement is because they are providing health care services to illegal immigrants. That is how this works. We're not suggesting that they are going on to Obamacare and purchasing health care insurance. Although, again, Democrats as a party support that idea.
We have never done that, and you're just wrong. So the question right now is, what are we going to do to ensure that we're not kicking 24 million Americans raising their premiums for health insurance, doubling those, and kicking 4 million Americans off of their health insurance.
Oh, this is so maddeningly disingenuous. So let's take both of those points there, okay? Let's take both of those points. Number one, we've already addressed the kicking people off of their health care nonsense. What she's referring to are people who are able-bodied and choosing not to even look for work. Those people, should they choose, even after the policy change goes into effect next year, choose not to look for work, yeah, they might lose their health insurance. Yeah, good. They should. It's not free. You have a bare minimum of just looking for work. That's all you have to do is just look. And you're still choosing not to, then that's on you. And of course, millions of people are not going to say, whatever. I'll still not even look. No, it's going to incentivize them to look. Number two, they're talking about the increase in premiums. Do you know why they're talking about the increase in premiums? Is because the Obamacare subsidies that comes from taxpayer dollars that are being put into the system to drive the costs down are being removed. It's true that under Obamacare, subsidies going away would raise the costs because the entire system doesn't work. It was never financially solvent. Never. They made this promise, we're going to get you amazingly affordable health care. Except what they didn't say, it would only be affordable if you pour trillions of dollars into it every single year. And rather than fix that, they just kept throwing more and more and more money. And finally, the money said, I'm peace out. I'm not going to be covering it anymore. What they're mad is that they realize that they can't keep throwing taxpayer dollars into a system that doesn't work. That's what they're mad at. And that's what they're talking about when they're saying premiums are going up. Premiums aren't going up because of Republicans. Premiums are going up because of Democrats passing Obamacare, which never, ever, ever, ever penciled out financially. Ever. That's what this is about. And they are lying to you when they say otherwise. Otherwise, it was a wonderful answer from a passionate Shaheen who really knows what it is she's talking about. And by the way, even Ro Khanna earlier today on Fox Business pointed out, illegal immigrants do in fact get health care coverage.
In terms of health care, the reality is they're just not being honest. The amount of money that actually is going towards people who are undocumented is such a small portion.
Breathe. Breathe in for a moment. Do the box breathing 4 seconds. Hold it. Release for 4 seconds. Hold it. Okay. No one is claiming that more money goes into healthcare for illegal immigrants than goes into healthcare for American citizens. Literally not a single person, I don't think, has ever even accidentally said that. Okay? What we're saying is that amount of money, whatever it might be, should not be going to illegal immigrants for health care. It should, in fact, if you're going to spend the money, either return to the American people so that they can use it however they see fit, or at a bare minimum, use that money to help subsidize Americans who need the help for health care coverage. That's all. That's all. I don't care if it's 1%. It's obviously not just 1%, because if it was just 1%, you think they would be dying on this hill?
No.
Probably not. It is so dishonest. And it's the equivalent of people saying, look, the amount of murders committed by illegal immigrants is very small. It pales in comparison to the murders committed by American citizens. Oh, okay. You do know murder is wrong, right? And you do know that when someone's in this country illegally who commits a murder, that is almost like you're saying this was a choice we made to allow that murder to happen rather than make the choice to secure our border and keep people out. It's so disingenuous. And again, this is not a difficult point to be made. Markwayne Mullin is the senator we don't deserve. I love this guy. Not only because I've interviewed him a bunch of times and he's super nice and he knows who I am. He's just a good guy who he manages to be like a normal dude. And you look at him and you even hear his voice. You're not going to think he's going to say anything all that bright, honestly. He just has that look because he's from Oklahoma and they all kind of have that sound of just like laid back. But man, he's so good in communicating just basic facts. And he goes on with Jake Tapper, who, by the way, humiliated Hakeem Jeffries today in calling it out as a lie when Hakeem says, oh, no money goes to illegal immigrants. He goes, well, yeah, but what about this piece of paper right here and this little point? And so Markwayne Mullin basically does the same thing to get Jake Tapper to admit that some illegal immigrants are very clearly getting taxpayer-funded health care.
They're wanting the American people to continue funding insurance for those that should never been in this country to begin with.
Well, so
and I know Chuck Schumer says that that's not.
No. I've looked into it. I know what you're talking about. I just want to explain to our viewers. So there is a provision that the Democrats want to get rid of, and part of it is Medicaid reimbursements, emergency Medicaid reimbursements to hospitals, some of which does go to undocumented immigrants using health care there to those hospitals. Some of it is also for people who are in this country legally but are not citizens, people who are refugees or people who have temporary protected status.
Well, actually, it goes further than that, because in the One Big Beautiful Bill, it has a line saying cut and fraud, waste, and abuse, specifically saying that Medicaid and Medicare benefits cannot go to an illegal alien. Underneath this CR that it's going to cost the taxpayers $1.5 trillion to keep government open for 4 weeks, it specifically, by line, X's that part out. So
Right,
it's more than just reimbursement. This is actually allows them to have Medicaid or Medicare inside, if it's state funded or if it's federal funded. So it goes much farther than just reimbursement to hospitals.
Seems pretty simple, does it not? Oh, my God. And then finally, you still have some Democrats who are in D.C. looking to try to turn this into a victory. So you've got Congress people struggling to work with Zoom and Facebook Live. There's lots of video of them like, your microphone's not on. Well, we'll figure this out. But then you've got the cringe videos. Sarah McBride, the transgender congressperson from Delaware, the forgotten state, did such a bad video. It's really bad. So the Congress members going around the halls of Congress looking, quote unquote, looking for Republicans and can't find any.
We're barreling towards a shutdown. All my Democratic colleagues are here. I'm going to go search for my Republican colleagues.
First of all, not all your Democratic colleagues are there. We just heard from the dude from Michigan who said he went back home to talk with his constituents.
Republicans.
Oh, God, no.
Y'all know there's a government shutdown. Republicans.
God, no.
Anyone here? It's my job.
This is the acting job you do when you're concerned someone might walk in on you, so you keep your voice down a little bit. It says, "Hey, Republicans!" Instead of doing that, Republicans. I don't want to make a fool too much more out of myself, so I'll keep my voice to this time. Like, oh my God.
Is it in here? Let's see if some Republicans are in here. Are there any Republicans in here?
Okay. Are any Republicans found? Because there's a ton of Republicans right now there. And by the way, the irony in this is a House member, right? Didn't they already vote?
Yeah, it already passed the House.
Yeah, a while ago. What does the House membership have to do with this? Why would the House be there?
It was like Chris Hayes the other day asked AOC about if Schumer's doing this just because she might primary him, and she ended up saying something like, "Well, Republicans can come negotiate with me." It's like, well, it already passed the House. So.
Yeah, why would we negotiate with AOC or any member of the House? Huh? The Senate is where it's stuck because the Senate Democrats, all the Republican senators are there, as far as I know, and all Democrat senators are there. This is just so dumb. The only reason to have House members come back is if they change the resolution, the clean bill, right, the CR, and have to get it revoted on by the House, which would take at least 24 hours. So this is so dumb. Oh, God. Oh, I got to do this for 3 more years. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. How am I going to do this? How are we going to be able to get through this? I'm going to become an alcoholic by the end of this term, I swear. Push the button.